Hello, everyone, and welcome to Miss Hope's Reading, our happy, fabulous FRI-YAY. Everyone out there, so glad that you could be here with me this evening. Happy Good Friday to all of my friends who are celebrating Easter. Happy Good Friday. I was like, wait a minute. Like my mom was like, is today Good Friday? I said, yes, it is Good Friday. Happy Good Friday, everyone. Hopefully your Friday has been fabulous. Hopefully you've gotten to do a lot of things that you wanted to do today. You enjoyed your services for Good Friday. Hopefully if you are planning for Easter, that you've done all of your planning for Easter. And hopefully you got to get some rest as well. Because for some of my young ones, today and all this week, we've been on break. Here in Philadelphia, we've been on spring break. But some schools, they were on spring break last week, so they went to school all week this week. But hopefully you got today off, at least early, okay, if you did have to go to school. So all of my young ones, older young ones, parent friends, teacher friends, parent teacher friends, and all of the Miss Hope's Reading Hour family, so glad that you are here this evening. So my Friday has been okay. But I had to go and get a test done. One that I do not like. It is called an MRI. I was like this, but then I got through it, persevered, strong, made it through it. I was like, whoo, thank you, God, that one is over, okay? But the rest of my day was great because guess what I treated myself to? I treated myself to a Belgian waffle. I love them, okay? Treated myself to one, made it myself, made myself some whipped cream, myself, made myself some berry syrup, myself. And guess what? It was delicious, okay? I was like, oh, after that, I deserve a treat. So I gave myself a treat. Isn't that always what happens on the weekend? You give yourself a treat. So that's what I did with my Friday. And I've been reading a lot because, as you all know, Miss Hope is in school as well as my young ones. I am in college. So even though there's a break, there really isn't a break in school for me. I still got to do homework. But this week has been a good week. It really has. I got a lot of reading done, got a lot of work done, did a lot of things I needed to do that I couldn't get done while I was working. Hopefully, that has happened for all of you as well. Okay? And if your parents had some stuff that they had to get done, if they were on the break, hopefully you helped them out. If this weekend they have some stuff to do, help them out. Okay? Help them out. All right. Now, if you saw the teaser today, we have two great books. One that is talking about the seasons and spring, and the other one, if you notice my shirt, it talks about baseball because today, well, no, the first in Philadelphia was the Philadelphia Phillies home opener. And I was like, oh, I have a book about baseball. Why not read it for my Miss Hope's Reading Hour family today? Well, my friends, before we get into the books, let me give the disclaimer, the wonderful music you will hear, and the awesome books that we will read. Unfortunately, Miss Hope does not own the rights to them. But guess what? They are here for your reading and listening enjoyment. Now, let us get into these books, shall we? So our first book is about the seasons. and spring. It is called When the Shade when the Shad Bush Blooms. When the shad bush blooms. Oh, look at those flowers. Aren't they beautiful? When the shad bush blooms. This book is by Carla Messenger with Susan Katz, illustrated by David Kanyetekaran. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. Fadden. When the shad bush blooms. And we will see who the publisher of this book is when we start reading. And our baseball book is called Waiting for Pumpsy. Waiting for Pumpsy. This book is by Barry Wittenstein, illustrated by London Ladd. Waiting for Pumpsy. And of course, my friends, you know whose story we are still reading. The story of our girl Patina. So she had some things happen over the week, from Fabulous Friday last week to Wonderful Wednesday. Now we're seeing, we'll get to it when it's time. Okay, let's see how much of it we have left to read. Oh well, we are almost halfway through Patina. Patty ain't no junk. We're almost halfway through. This is what we got left, y'all. And this is what we've read so far. So we are moving through this book. Now, if you would like to donate to the Miss Hope's Reading Hour Library, because our books from February and March went from here to here. So we are needing more books to read. So what can you do? You can donate via Cash App. The Miss Hope's Reading Hour Cash App is HOPEGM, all one word, all lowercase. You can donate any amount, and 100% of those proceeds will go to purchasing more books for the Miss Hope's Reading Hour Library. If you do not have Cash App, guess what you can do? You can send digital gift cards to the hello, happy FRI-YAY. So you can send digital gift cards to the Miss Hope's Reading Hour email address, which you can check out ticker down here, and you will be able to see that email address. And if you would like to just send books to me, you can email me at that email address, and we can work out the details to just send me some books. Okay? Now, let us get into our first book with this soothing music as we talk about the seasons in When the Shad Bush Blooms by Carla Messenger with Susan Katz. All right. Who is the publisher of this book? Let's see. Oh, this is a Lee and Lowe's Books Incorporated book. My whole family lives close to the land and to each other through the cycle of the seasons. I love seeing deer. They are bigger than you think. I've seen one up close before. I was like, whoa, that is a big animal. My grandparents' grandparents walk beside the same stream where I walk with my brother, and we can see what they saw. Deer leap in the woods. Hawks fly in circles overhead. Frogs splash, and turtles sun themselves. So this is the When the Shadfish Return moon. Um, I will pronounce these words when we are done. I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to get it wrong. So they're talking about their grandparents and then their experience of the seasons. And this is the when the shadfish return moon still. In the early spring, when the shad bush blooms like a white lace veil, we go fishing. Dad smiles when my brother or I catch a shad. We roast the fish and everyone enjoys it, especially the dog. Grass and geese moon and the planting moon. When the deer shed their winter coats and geese honk on the pond, Dad and my brother clear the land for our garden. Mom and I sing as we plant the corn, and the baby coos, shaking her rattle. So you can see on one side how their ancestors experienced the moon, and then how they experience it in recent times. The heartberry moon. When the berries ripen, dangling like tiny hearts, we go berry picking. My brother and I race to see who can pick the fastest. The baby tastes her first berries. Her smeared face makes me laugh. That has to be fun. I remember my mom talking about going berry picking when she was little. They always had to pick a little more because they were tasting them too. The bees moon. When the air hums with the wings of bees, my brother and I chase the crows from our garden. Together we gather honey. My brother ducks when a bee buzzes too close. I lick from one finger a drop as sweet as summer. So as we read, see if you can figure out when these different moons rise, what season it is. Ooh, too many pages. Moon of roasting ears of corn. When tall stalks rustle and the ears of corn have grown fat, we roast corn with our friends. While Grandma carefully takes her corn off the cob, I gobble mine fast. The baby plays with a new doll, and my brother scores a goal for his team. You see how on both sides they're both playing almost the same game. Grasshopper's moon. When grasshoppers patter in the fields and the evenings echo with insect song, we enjoy the autumn harvest. Mom finds a pumpkin so big she can hardly carry it. Grandma shows the baby a beautiful gourd. My brother and I catch grasshoppers. Dear hair turns gray moon, falling leaves moon. When the leaves fly like red and yellow wings and nuts tumble from the trees, Dad makes the house snug and warm before cold weather. My brother and I rake a huge pile of leaves and jump in. There's enough leaves that fall in my yard that we could jump in them too. Falling snow moon. When gray skies drop flakes that glitter like falling stars, my brother and I climb the hill. Grandpa gives us a push at the top and we fly down. The dog races after us, barking. I remember in the springtime in the park near my old house, us rolling down a hill on the grass. Cold makes the trees crack moon. When the days grow short and trees creak and crack in the cold, Grandma mends our winter clothes and Grandpa tells us all stories. While we settle in, Mom fixes a snack. I ask to hear my favorite story twice. Grandmas and grandpas can tell the best stories. Aunts and uncles too. Ground squirrels run moon. When the ground squirrels dig in the drifts of snow and birds perch on frozen branches, the boys start a snowball fight with the girls. Mom stocks the house with food. My brother and I remember to share with the animal people. Oh, cool. They're giving them bird seed to the birds. Frogs begin to croak moon. When spring peepers chirp their froggy songs, we go on a trip with Grandma to gather maple sap. The baby tastes her first spring treat. I talk to a frog on a tree trunk. I remember going maple sugaring once. That was really cool to see how all that sap gets boiled down into syrup. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Pages, pages. When the shadfish return moon, as the seasons circle around once more, my brother and I walk to the stream. We watch for the shad bush to bloom again, as my grandparents did. All the things that they've done, they're a little different, but pretty much their grandparents and their grandparents did the same thing. So this was a story about the Lenni Lenape people. Before contact, our people, the Lenni Lenape, which means first real or original people, lived in a vast forest that covered parts of what are now called Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, and Connecticut. We were hunters, fishers, and farmers, and our villages were located along the banks or tributaries of a river that we called Lenape Wihituk, the river of the people. The Europeans renamed our river the Delaware in honor of Sir Thomas West III, or 12th Baron Delaware. governor of Virginia. Because we lived along the river, they called us the Delaware Indians. So there's more to that story, but how about that? About the Lenape seasons. Unlike the European calendar, which assigns a fixed number of days to each month, sun, moon, and the natural world have always guided our lives. For countless generations, we have followed the cycles of fishing, hunting, planting, tending gardens, and taking in the harvest. We named each cycle, each moon, for a significant aspect of nature, and for each cycle brings its particular tasks and special pleasures. Wow, very cool to see how other people celebrate the seasons and the things that they do, and how with the Lenni Lenape, they do a lot of things that their ancestors did. Even though now we have cars and, up to date things, they still see and notice how they do a lot of things during the seasons that their ancestors did. Such a cool book about the seasons and how spring comes back around, how it all happens in a cycle. Very good book. Very glad that I got to read that with you all. Now, my friends, we are going to get to our baseball book. You hear that? Baseball! Waiting for Pumpsy by Barry Wittenstein, illustrated by London Ladd. So we will be learning some new things in this book as well. I read this book and I was like, oh, I didn't know any of that stuff. Dust jacket, cover of the book looks the same. All right, let's see who the publisher of this book is. Okay, this is a Charles Bridge book. Waiting for Pumpsy. I'm Bernard, and I'm crazy, crazy, crazy about the Red Sox. Everybody in Boston is. It's just something you get born into. We're lucky, I guess. Crazy, crazy, crazy. We always want the Sox to win. But Mama says we gotta root for all the colored players, no matter what team they're on. How come the Giants got Willie Mays and Jackie Robinson retired from the Dodgers, but we still don't have a Negro player? I asked Papa. That's a good question, Papa says. It's an excellent question. Every year we go to a game at Fenway Park. There's no place in the world like it. Men with funny hats and aprons yell, "Get your Cracker Jack!" The left field wall even has a name, the Green Monster. I'm not kidding. Last year we saw the Sox play the Yankees. Papa complained that they only had one Negro, but I said, it's one more than we got. That player, Elston Howard, hit a single to put the Yanks up 1-0 in the second inning. My sister Lisa and I jumped up and screamed. Two men behind us yelled, "Sit down and shut up." Like, you can't be rooting for the other team. But they were rooting for the player who was also a Negro. Mama and Papa spun around real fast. One man said a bad word. Mama pointed a finger in his face. "Who do you think you're talking to?" she said. Then a policeman came over. He said, "You people need to learn how to behave." He said it to us. I don't ask Mama and Papa anymore why more colored people don't come to Fenway. I'm old enough to know. Change is coming real soon, Mama said, like she could see the future. Is she right? I asked Papa. He laughed. Your mama's always right. Then we all laughed, especially Mama. Besides, the Celtics already got Negro stars Bill Russell and KC Jones. Even the Bruins, our hockey team, have a colored player. So why not the Sox? That is a good question. An excellent question. During spring training, we hear about this Negro in the minor leagues, Pumpsy Green. What a great name. Papa says he's the best rookie. Every Sunday, I pray for him to make the lineup. Opening day is almost here. Maybe I don't pray hard enough, because at the last minute, they tell him, "Sorry, Pumps, you're not ready." Makes no sense, Papa says, shaking his head. The owner doesn't want colored players on his team. This proves it. I don't think it'll ever happen, I say. Papa's big arms pull me in. We waited this long, Bernard. What's a little longer? Days turn into weeks. Weeks turn into months. The Sox are dropping like a rock into last place. Papa's newspaper says important colored and white folks are getting mighty angry. They say Pumpsy deserves a chance. Come on, Sox, give him a chance. Finally, one sticky July day, my prayers are answered. The Sox tell him, "Pumps, pack your bags. You made it." They are playing a night game in Chicago. We huddle around the radio. Mama makes popcorn to make it feel like we're at Fenway. We listen real hard, but we don't hear Pumpsy's name. Maybe he'll come in later, Papa says, smiling, when he sees our long faces. The game enters the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings, and still no Pumpsy. Now Papa's expression changes. In the 8th inning, with the Red Sox down 2-1, the first batter hits a single. The man on the radio says, "Now running at first base." We hold our breath. Pumpsy Green! Finally, he's in. Oh, wait. This is history, Mama shouts. Do not forget this moment, Papa roars, wiping his eyes. Never, ever, ever. We promise. Lisa and I hug Mama and Papa like we just won prize money. I imagine Pumpsy taking the lead, rocking back and forth to distract the pitcher like Jackie Robinson used to. The Sox make 1, 2, 3 outs. Pumpsy is stuck at first. No luck. We lose. Again. I'm not kidding. Oh, man. First time in. Oh, man. The next day, there's a picture in the newspaper of Ted Williams giving Pumpsy batting tips. I figure that if Teddy Ballgame wants to be Pumpsy's friend, maybe the Sox can start winning. The Red Sox play away games in Kansas City, then Cleveland, and finally Detroit. Whew. The night they land in Boston, newspapermen push and shove at the airport to snap pictures. Pop, pop, pop. It's like Pumpsy's a movie star. That has to be exciting. The next morning at breakfast, Papa surprises us. For once, the stands are packed with colored faces. In the first inning, Pumpsy heads to his position at second base. I hear a man yell, "Get that Negro off the field." Mama tells us to ignore him. Some people have hearts full of ignorance, she explains. Pumpsy makes a nifty pivot for a double play that ends the top of the first. Now it's Boston's turn at bat. Can they win this one? Let's see. Hopefully they do. Leading off for the Red Sox, number 12, Pumpsy Green. The announcer's voice echoes through Fenway. We're stomping our feet so much the stadium starts to shake. Pumpsy takes 2 practice swings. He digs in. The pitcher looks for his sign. He shakes his head. Then the pitcher winds up. Pumpsy pulls his bat back. The ball shoots out of the pitcher's hand like a rocket, and Pumpsy swings. Oh, what's going to happen? Is he going to hit it? Is he going to make a home run? Let's see. Whack! The ball climbs higher and higher. I think it's going to make it over that mean green monster. No, it clanks off the top of the wall and bounces back onto the field. Pumpsy rounds first base and runs like his own uniform can't keep up. The outfielder heaves the ball back in. Pumpsy slides, safe at third. Fenway goes crazy. I look over to where the man full of ignorance is sitting. He's gone. Lisa and I hoop even louder. Oh man, this is exciting, and I'm just reading the book. The Sox win. After the game, I stopped walking for a minute and turn around. I look at Fenway and the crowd and tell my eyes to take a picture. Oh, because you got to remember this moment. You got to remember this moment. You got to remember it. The bus is buzzing real loud on the ride back to Roxbury. People are asking if the Sox can get back into the pennant race now that we have Pumpsy. That gets me thinking, is he as good as Jackie? We pass people standing in front of stores and on lawns. They're waving Red Sox flags and holding up the newspaper picture of Ted and Pumpsy. I can even hear chants of Pumpsy, Pumpsy, and the horns beep, beep, beeping. It's like New Year's Eve and the 4th of July rolled into one. I'm not kidding. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. This is so exciting. One day, I'll tell my kids how long we waited for Pumpsy Green. I'll tell them how he dug his heels into the batter's box. I'll tell them how I pretended it was me, Bernard, sliding into third. And I'll tell them it happened at Fenway Park, the most beautiful place in the world. Finally, just like Mama and Papa said it would. Wow, the end. Oh my goodness. That was amazing. It was so exciting. So here is a picture, a painting of Pumpsy Green. And there's an author's note in here. So if you have some young ones who love baseball, who can't wait for baseball season, or maybe this is their first time being on a softball or a baseball team, a little league team, this right here, Waiting for Pumpsy, great, great book. Because of course you're always waiting to be in the lineup, right? Not on the bench. So that would be an awesome book for them. So glad I got to read that book with you guys. That was so fun. I mean, I was excited already. I was already excited. So, my friends, so we will be going on to Miss Patina. Patty ain't no junk, I'm telling you. Okay. So we're still in chapter 8, because remember the chapters in this book are a little long. So we are still in chapter 8. And guess what? Once again, she has gone into the lunchroom and she's like, okay, I'm not going to assume that people are going to want me to sit with them. Not going to make an assumption. I'm going to do my regular, get my lunch, do my rounds, walk around the lunchroom. But guess who called her over again? Becca. She was like, you want to sit down? Patty is, Patina, she's not feeling it, but even though she kind of seems like she doesn't want to make friends, she's making friends. So we'll see what happens. Now, they've been talking about, because Becca has been talking about how they sent this record into space for if aliens wanted to hear what it was like on Earth. There's music and all kinds of other things on there. And they asked Patina, who was not expecting for anyone to ask her anything, well, if you could send anything into space for aliens to hear about you, what would you send? And Patina said that she would send some beats because her dad used to make beats and they may like that. Well, now we are at this point in chapter 8. Let's get back to it. Patina, Patty Ain't No Junk by Jason Reynolds. Continuing chapter 8. All right, let me see. Okay. I want some cupcakes right now. A girl whose hair was spun into a tight bun the size of a biscuit on the tip top of her head said. I hadn't caught her name yet. I don't think anybody said it. Cupcakes would be cool, Sasha agreed, but Becca's mind was somewhere else. Yeah, they would be. But what would really be cool is beats, right? I mean, especially if some alien DJ got a hold of them. Becca did a fake DJ thing with her hand on a plate, like she was scratching records. And then she added, does your dad still make beats? But her voice seemed to slow down, stretched out and distorted, all crazy in my ears. Does your dad still make beats? My throat. Did I eat the plate without knowing it? Did the pointy fingers of the fork break off? Did I swallow them? So now plastic nails were poking the inside of my neck? I never, ever, ever talked about my father in public. Not because I didn't want to, but because it just never came up. I was more used to talking about my mothers. The mom situation always became a conversation about why I have two, but never about why I don't have a dad. If anything, most people just assume Uncle Tony's my pops, which is cool, but it just never hit me that I don't really talk about my actual dad. Not even to Cotton, not to nobody. And so, this simple question about whether or not my dad still makes beats tighten the skin around my bones. Patina, Becca's voice wah wah in my head. You okay? You look sick. I had no idea how long I was sitting there stuck. No, sorry, I tried to answer. My father, yeah, he's gone. But before I could actually say it, the bell rang and it was off to history class where I had to sit with it all. Had to let that thought of my dad splash around my stomach with whatever a short rib was, while my regular sized ribs felt like they were being bent. A tiny hammer, the one that always knocks on the back of my throat whenever I need to cry, knocking away. And usually, whenever I feel this stuff, it's soothed by the thought of track practice, by running. But since it was now thundering out, causing Becca to almost jump out of her skin every 5 minutes in Miss Lanford's class, which, along with me struggling to get myself together, kept Group Frida from getting any work done. Coach sent out a text saying practice was canceled. The world was proving it hated me. It was like the ultimate hair flip, like the Earth's. Chapter 9. To do. Think about aliens in a big fancy house and posers. Not only does rain mean no practice, but rain on Wednesday means Thursday's practice, the last practice before the meet on Saturday, was gonna suck. Too bad to even think about. And I had no time to think about it anyway because no practice also meant I didn't have an excuse not to go straight to Becca's after school. I met Maddie in the north wing, walked her to the car as usual. Well, it was more like a run to the car because the rain was coming down hard. Maddie climbed in and I jumped in the passenger seat. Practice is canceled, I blurted at Momly, wiping water from my arms. I figured, she replied, smirking. I kicked something on the floor, a plastic bag, fresh clothes and stuff that she'd packed for me anyway, just in case. So if it's okay with you, I think I'm just going to go over the girl Becca's house to work on the group project now. And that way I don't have to stay too long. Momly didn't say nothing to that, just nodded. Can you please, please, please come get me in 2 hours? 2 hours? Got it, she confirmed. But do you know where she lives? I just pointed from the window. The big house directly across the street. Momly looked, let her mouth hang open for a second just before catching herself. Wow, well, I guess I'll just drive you over there. And just then, Becca, Taylor, and Titi appeared in the doorway of the school. But because of the rain, they didn't come out. And if they were planning to wait the storm out, they would never get to Becca's house, which meant there was no reason for me to go. Plus, we'd never get any work done anyway. There go the girls in my group right there, I said. The words like glue on my tongue, only because I knew what Momly would say next. But like I said, it was raining hard and we all had to get to the same place. Oh, well then, I'll just take all of you. Momly beeped the horn and waved Becca, Taylor, and Titi over. They didn't come, not at first. Momly's sweet face can definitely come across as stranger danger if you don't know her. But then she cracked the window enough to be heard and shouted, I'm Patina's auntie. The girls came running to the car. Maddie got up front with me, something that Momly would never ever allow any other time. But it was only, and I do mean only, because we were going right across the street that Momly let it slide. Didn't matter to Maddie. She was in the front seat and she was happy. Smashed in the back seat was basically my worst nightmare. I'm kidding. But seriously, it was wild to know that Becca, Taylor, and Titi were crammed into Momly's car, which is basically like my car. Seatbelts, everyone, Momly sang. I yanked the seatbelt around Maddie and me, strapping her tight to my chest. I couldn't even turn around to look at Becca and them. Not because the seatbelt was too tight, but because it was all just too weird. I wasn't embarrassed or nothing. I take that back. I was a little embarrassed. Only because Momly was playing her talk radio and Maddie decided to try out some small talk by asking if any of them have their dogs massaged or kissed them on their mouths. Maddie, I snapped as she turned halfway around to get a good look at the girls. What? I'm just asking. I don't have a dog, Becca said, cheery. Neither do we, TT said for her and Taylor. Well, y'all got mothers? Maddie followed up. Oh, that's enough, Madison. Momly tisks, putting an arm across both me and Maddie as she came to a red light. I'm just asking, Maddie repeated. Of course we all have moms. Why? Taylor asked, which stung me a little. Because we all don't have everything. Some people have mothers, some don't. Some have dads, some don't. Some got two moms. Shoot, some even have to be moms before they actually are moms. The light changed. Momly rolled across the street so slowly that cars were honking their horns and zooming around us. Oh, okay. I just thought maybe you didn't because you got all that makeup on, and my mother says that if, okay, I think we're almost there, right, Becca? I cut Maddie off before she got me cut off. Even more cut off. Becca laughed. TNT? Not so much. Yep, this is me right here on the left, the one with the open gate. Becca pointed to the most giantest house I've ever seen up close. Momly pulled up around this big fountain to the front door. As everybody got out, I leaned back in and reminded Momly, 2 hours, please. Just 2 hours. 2 hours, she repeated slowly, putting 2 fingers up. And Maddie, who had now climbed back in the back seat, also put up 2 fingers, but held them up to the window at Becca and the girls, a peace sign. Inside Becca's house, 1, a whole lot of space. 2, a big piano Becca called that old piece of crap. 3, a chandelier that looked like the ceiling was raining diamonds. 4, paintings, pictures of paintings, paintings of pictures, and pictures of Becca looking goofy. 5, a movie theater that Becca said no one ever used. 6, big furniture made from the same kind of leather as my uncle's favorite jacket. 7, no dog. 8, a scraggly cat named Carl that didn't wear clothes or looked like it ever had a massage a day in its life. 9, me and the 2 other girls who were taking selfies like they ain't never been nowhere. 10, the familiar smell of sugar. This is Granny, Becca said as we popped into the kitchen for a moment. An old lady dressed like an old lady was baking cookies. Hi, girls, she said, scooping batter from a bowl. Sweets will be ready in a short while. The old lady's voice was like Momly's, if it had a whole bunch of cuts in it. We're going to be upstairs doing work, Granny. Well, okay then. I won't bother you. They'll be down here. Chocolate chip, oatmeal, snickerdoodle, and peanut butter. You girls help yourselves. She made all that? I asked. Yeah, it's her hobby. We don't even eat them. She just likes to make them and then give them away to our neighbors. Like, I like cupcakes better. What's your dad's favorite recipe? I don't know if it was the sugar smell or the buildup from earlier or what, but I just said it. He passed away. Becca looked me in the eye, straight in the eye. I'm sorry. I didn't know. It was a long time ago. And now, relieved I got it over with, I changed the subject without actually changing the subject. Another one of those small talk tips I picked up from Mommy. Where's your folks? I asked. I really asked because the house was so quiet. No TV, no radio, no noise besides pans being slid into the oven and the weird giggles of TNT holding their cell phones in the air posing. Where they always are, at work, Becca shot back. Come on. And with Taylor and TT trying for the millionth time to get the whole chandelier in the shop, I followed behind Becca as we walked up one of those round and round stairs to her room. Here's the thing about hair flipper bedrooms. They basically only come one way. I mean, I had never actually been in one in real life, but I had seen them enough times on TV to know that they're all bedazzled in pink and purple. They look like candy shops, like doll houses, like living inside of a strawberry cupcake. But as we entered Becca's room, blackness. Not like Black History Month blackness, and not blackness like I passed out from the overload of girliness in Becca's room. I didn't. Though I did feel like I was gonna black out from shock, because if Becca's house was a castle, Becca's room in this house was the dungeon, the upstairs dungeon. Everything in her room was black. The walls, the closet doors, the lamps and lights, the desk, the ceiling, everything. It was like Becca was really a YMBC or something. Like she was really a button bag. As I tried to hide my shock, Taylor and TT finally came bursting in the room, all squeals and smiles, which quickly turned into gasps and frowns. Their faces were stuck, half melted, terrified. Meanwhile, Becca pulled a chair from behind her door, another from the desk against the wall, and plopped down on her bed like none of this was a big deal. Okay, let's get to work on Miss Frida. She clapped her hands together, excited. Silence from me and TNT, whose struggle faces looked like they were trying to swallow their own tongues. Me, well, all I kept telling myself was 2 hours. Just 2 hours, Patty. Yeah, let's get to work, I finally said. And before I could grab one of the chairs, TT and Taylor had already snatched them, positioned them right next to each other and right next to the door. So I sat on the bed. Take it easy. No big deal. All black room. No problem. No problem at all. Don't really mean nothing. No, not at all. Not at all. Funny thing is, the group went exactly the same as it did in school. Me basically trying to manage it all while TNT, who were usually distracted by paint on their nails, were now distracted by paint on the walls. So while me and Becca were digging around on the internet for more details about our Mexican artist friend, Taylor and Titi were whispering to each other until finally Becca said, "Are y'all gonna help?" "Oh, yeah," Taylor said, shocked that she got called out. "We just had a question about it all," Titi added. I don't know what Becca thought was coming next, but I thought it was going to be about Frida. Turns out, it all, the they had a question about had nothing to do with the project. "What's the deal with um, all of this?" Titi waved her hands around like she was swatting flies. "What do you mean?" Becca asked, in the honest way she always asks something. "I mean, this," Titi repeated the wave. "Look, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's just a little weird." Taylor jumped back in. "It's like at school, you act one way, and it's not all gothy like this, but really you." "She's what?" I asked, cocking my head to the side. I don't know where it came from, but something about the way they were talking rubbed me wrong. The same way I felt when people tried to mess with Ghost, or Sunny, or even Lou. But Becca didn't need me. "Gothy?" She was for real confused. "Oh, you want to know about the black?" She smiled, totally unfazed. Becca reached behind her back and snatched the curtains closed. Then she got up and slapped the light switch on the wall. And then blackness went to darkness, and the whole universe appeared. Stars and planets, and whatever other things be up there in space popped out of the black, glowing green all around us. "What is all this?" I asked, looking up at the ceiling. "This is as much of the galaxy as you can fit in a bedroom. And that," she leaned over to see what was directly above my head. "Well, that looks like the Gemini twins." She tried to get me to see what she was talking about, but it all just looked like a bunch of stars to me. Constellations, like connect the dots, except with stars, you know? I didn't know, but I still thought it was kind of cool. Well, my friends, we will end there. So that's how it's going at Becca's house so far. See, sometimes when you think you know how people are from first impression, sometimes you are wrong. Now, I will be honest, if I went into a new person's room and it was all black, I would be a little weirded out. But to find out that when you cut off the lights and close the curtains, it just opens up and looks like the sky, that is pretty cool. I can get down with that. The black, when the lights are on, not so much. But when the lights are off and it looks like the night sky, absolutely. Well, let's see how her and Becca will be as friends possibly. And I want to know if TNT will go back to school and gossip about Becca's room. Maybe because Patina feels a little different and Becca is a little different, maybe they will become friends. We will have to wait until Marvelous Monday, okay? Well, my friends, it is so good to be with you. I'm so glad we got to read together these great books today. And I hope that you have an awesome weekend, okay? Have a great Easter. Eat a lot of candy. Have some peeps. Go to church. Do all the stuff you do. Spend time with family. And I will see you right back here on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Until then, my friends, See you next